All I can say is Charles Carroll. Am I on? All I can say is that Charles Carroll said it best. Charles Carroll said it best when he said, I'm not streaming because I'm happy. I'm happy because I'm streaming. This life is fucking crazy because you're set against an ultimate existential test the same way you're set against a material one. And it takes a fucking guru like such a wise fucking probably such experienced person to like perfectly integrate the two into a life and then to do so into a lifestyle that's satisfying. What I mean is like to live for only like the highest goods, highest good. And I'm not saying I do that perfectly. Like I'm not tooting my own horn. I'm saying that is what I do. That is my intent at every moment. That is true. That can't be denied. So to live for the highest good and still try to like maintain a proper life, and you think they go hand in hand, but I think at first they just don't because it's so chaotic to leave behind the old. And then I would just say this for me, that's probably always true for anyone, like forcing change in your life and like actually trying to be something different for all the right reasons is a very like chaotic and kind of earth-shattering experience. I'd even say I even have a footnote that that's especially because usually when you do that, it's because something's gone awry in your life, and so you need to like go kind of fashion a new life for yourself. Um, but Dicey, you gotta shut the fuck up. Shut up, bro. Come on, I love you. You gotta stop that shit. I'll give you one more piece of sausage, but that's it. Number one. Oh no, that's it. Um, you but regardless, whenever you're doing that, yeah, it's gonna be chaotic, and I would say mine's lasted a year. And the reason it's lasted a year is very clearly because of like like past struggles with like suicidality and a whole other host of other like psychological maladies that I don't even think are like embedded in me, but just have kind of fallen upon me, usually for some kind of a reason, and sometimes just because of the simple like awareness of the reasons to be pessimistic about life. And so I just my point is this like because I had all that like baggage in my head, it took me a year of living like some kind of a fucking child to finally get my mind in order. And it's just that's that's too much time to spend in some kind of a like a fantasy or just like a delusion of reality where you just don't accept the impending consequence of the way you live. And so what's happened is I've like smoked too much weed and spent too much money and gotten a hernia just somehow and not making any money right now. I lost my only gig, and then and it's just like um, my point and all I'm saying is that that is probably what's waiting for you if you really go on and fully commit to some sort of principled stance in life. And even if you do it for only good reasons, I mean, we're all going to act for bias. We're all going to act for cheap comforts and thrills. Like that's just undeniable. Like obviously, the decisions you make probably aren't just all like perfect and wholly beneficial. You're probably a little lazy and a little greedy and a little selfish, and you know that's I would say that's okay in the sense that everyone is. So I'm not trying to say that my decisions have been perfect or holy or that anyone else's are. But what I am saying is that whenever you start to live in a way that is completely focused upon making like the highest, bestest decisions, you're probably gonna like fuck it up in a bunch of ways, and you're not gonna do well enough at it, even though you're dedicating yourself to that lifestyle. So it's like turning up the difficulty on a game that is not on a game with no instructions, and then like losing. That's all, and then just like losing. And I don't know if people realize this, but like you're supposed to go do that because and the reason I know you're supposed to go do that is because I've never felt more psychologically satisfied in all my life. And so there's no way that this is like a lesser way to live. I mean, if you look, click yesterday. We actually you can't see it. But maybe I can put a screenshot up or something. I'll just go ahead and take one right now. But the stream that I did, I guess you'd say yesterday, but a bunch of it was today. In fact, it was pretty much all on today's date. Was It says 11 hours and 55 minutes, which is kind of disappointing. I don't know why it came out to that because I'm certain I reached like 12 hours and 8 minutes or something like that with the timestamp that I saw. Why can't I see my content? Dice, I really need you to stop, buddy. Stop. Stop. Okay? I gave you so much food. Stop. No. No. Oh, no. No. No, Dicey. No. Um, but I streamed for for 12 hours, and I'm just saying it just you totally fucking distracted me, dude. I just hate that, dude. Come on. Stop. No. No. Don't. Don't even. I just totally lost train of thought. That fucking sucks. One sec, dude. Oh, well, just that. I mean, um, that's what I mean. Like, you can live in this kind of way, and it's not actually very difficult to get there. It's pretty easy. You just work hard. You just do a bunch of work. And I almost didn't get on the stream tonight. I really almost did. But I was sitting here and I was just thinking like, I just want to literally lay down on the floor and let the fucking TV play. And I thought, well, then I'll go stream. But I looked at the time and it's like, it's already 2:30. Like I usually get started at least like at the late night time, around 11, maybe at 9, I turn the thing on and do almost nothing for the first couple hours. But I'm always getting started about midnight. And for it to be 2:30, it's like, what are you going to do? Get started at like 5 a.m. now? Like, no, you're not. By that time, you're going to be going to bed without a doubt. And I thought if I could even get a couple hours in here, just like getting on, that'll be great. And it's probably going to evolve into a bunch of hours. Probably going to do like a whole thing where obviously, I'm going to do a shit ton of work. But it is late, and I did have a crazy, stressful, fucked up night. And I'm lucky. I should be in trouble right now. I'm good. At home. Nothing's out of place. Nothing's out of line. Feel bad for yelling at my dog. It's most of it. What you got? Sorry, you think you're doing that, but it's an important video. Love you. That's all. I gave you enough. Better calm down. Love you. Good boy. Good boy. Love you. Good boy. But yeah, that's all. Just oh, I was saying, yeah, I never felt more psychologically satisfied. And I mean that. I mean that as in like there's something about the way that I'm living that is precisely correct. Like there's not one there's not one gear like out of place. Like it's just perfect. And that sounds deeply contradictive to everything I just said about the chaos of my current existence and the impending doom that is upon me. I'd say more than one way. With that being said, I don't know. You might think, well, it's contradictive, and I would say I'm glad. I would love to contradict that my life is a hell of my own design, and I'm a failure and a fucking loser. I would like to contradict that, and I would say that the reason it contradicts is that for some reason that space of like just complete everything's fucked and you have no money and little and for me little to no prospects. I have some prospects, let's just say, for the sake of argument, no. I mean, it's not much, so let's just say virtually no prospects for me, right? You got no money and no prospects, and people aren't like on your side, you know. People don't really want you to see you continue to head in the direction that you're certainly gonna head. I mean, what are you gonna feel? You might feel a lot of things, But here's the weird thing: I don't feel trapped. I feel very free. I feel very, very free. You know? And what I keep thinking about is the Lego movie, where like you are the guy, you are the Messiah, and the Messiah is supposed to be a master builder. You can just build, you know. Like, all right, so go build. He's like, all right, what do I build? Like, I don't know, a car. He's like, okay, where are the instructions? You're like, you have to make up the instructions with your mind. You know, does that make sense? Like, I feel like I'm in that state of life now, where it's like, oh shit, like look at like a Rolling Stone by Bob Dylan for those lyrics. Look at what I mean. Like, it's like you have no attachments to anything because you are such a fucking failure. You failed. So there's no kids. There's no uh, momentous career. There's not a fucking house. Uh, there's not some sort of even an investment to watch or anything like that. There's nothing that I'm beholden to. I just don't know how to feel anything but satisfaction in that state. You know, so I'll say I get stressed. I do, but I mean, being as stressed as I was tonight, all I fucking did was took a few hours to eat some food and play some video games, smoke a cigarette, and I'm just gonna get back on the work right now. That's what I'm gonna choose to do, because it's just I just can't imagine how a different decision is better. Yeah, I can't imagine it. I don't know what that would look like. So cuteness of burrowing owls is our first piece of. Hey, Dice, you have to just shut up. I mean, there's really nothing that I could say. I was being nice, but you know, I'm thinking about it more and more, and it's just like you just gotta fucking stop it, dude. Jesus Christ, it's fucking loud, bony, fat. I don't care. Like I couldn't care less about words and friends. I can't find. There we go. Hot. This is gay now. What immediately became gay. Awesome. This guy's a meth head, literally. Literally. I don't think I really spoke well on the stuff that I'm going through. I'm also extremely tired and I was stressed. Yeah, I'll stop recording.
My feet, I got the cat, bitch, I work like a dog. I keep my do-rag tight and my J's on the floor. Fuck I
Hey Majors, so I'd like to start off with a little biology lesson. When a species finds itself living on an island, it can start to evolve in strange ways based on the different pressures applied by the new environment. This is called island syndrome, and while it can manifest in a lot of ways, the biggest driving force is often a lack of predators. For example, the dodo lost its ability to fly. Hey Majors, so I'd like to start off with a little biology lesson. When a species finds itself living on an island, it can start to evolve in strange ways based on the different pressures applied by the new environment. This is called island syndrome, and while it can manifest in a lot of ways, the biggest driving force is often a lack of predators. For example, the dodo lost its ability to fly since there was nothing to flee from. The Saint killed a field mouse got twice as big since it no longer had to hide. And with no one around to bully them, the Sardinians started putting maggots in their cheese. Meet Kazu Marzu, literal translation, rotten cheese. It's made by taking a perfectly good wheel of pecorino and letting a special type of fly lay eggs in it. The fly babies then work to partially digest the cheese, rendering it goopy and wet and maybe quite tasty and worm-filled. Now, cheese as a concept is already quite suspect. It's clotted milk that you fill with bacteria and mold and let sit for a while. But cheese is safe and delicious. Cheese is my friend. I trust cheese. So my guard would be down around Kazu Marzu. I've learned to look past a cheese's childhood. Strange upbringings are what give them their character. But it turns out, those maggots are still alive, and if you don't chew well enough, they can cause enteric myiasis, which is a fancy term for fly larvae living in your intestines. Symptoms are similar to food poisoning, except with the added psychic pain of knowing that, again, your bowels are full of squiggly new friends. It's for this reason that Kazu Marzu is banned in the EU, and strange upbringings are what give them their character. Saint killed a called island. So Hey Majors, so I'd like to start off with a little biology lesson. When a species finds itself living on an island, it can start to evolve in strange ways based on the different pressures applied by the new environment. This is called island syndrome, and while it can manifest in a lot of ways, the biggest driving force is often a lack of predators. For example, the dodo lost its ability to fly since there was nothing to flee from. The Saint killed a field mouse got twice as big since it no longer had to hide. And with no one around to bully them, the Sardinians started putting maggots in their cheese. Meet Kazu Marzu, literal translation, rotten cheese. It's made by taking a perfectly good wheel of pecorino and letting a special type of fly lay eggs in it. The fly babies then work to partially digest the cheese, rendering it goopy and wet and maybe quite tasty and worm-filled. Now, cheese as a concept is already quite suspect. It's clotted milk that you fill with bacteria and mold and let sit for a while. But cheese is safe and delicious. Cheese is my friend. I trust cheese. So my guard would be down around Kazu Marzu. I've learned clotted milk that you fill with bacteria and mold and let sit for a while. But cheese is safe and delicious. Cheese is my friend. I trust cheese. So my guard would be down around Kazu Marzu. I've learned to look past a cheese's childhood. Strange upbringings are what give them their character. But it turns out, those maggots are still alive, and if you don't chew well enough, they can cause give them their character. But it turns out, those maggots are still alive, and if you don't chew well enough, they can cause enteric myiasis, which is a fancy term for fly larvae living in your intestines. Symptoms are similar to food poisoning, except with the added psychic pain of knowing that, again, your bowels are full of squiggly new friends. It's for this reason that Kazu Marzu is banned in the EU and elsewhere. A black market still exists, which is wild, and it's not a small one. In 2019, the illicit Kazu Marzu trade was estimated to be worth 2 to 3 million euros annually. Personally, I would just do it would give them their character. But it turns out, those maggots are still alive, and if you don't chew well enough, they can cause enteric myiasis, which is a fancy term for fly larvae living in your intestines. Symptoms are similar to food poisoning, except with the added psychic pain of knowing that, again, your bowels are full of squiggly new friends. It's for this reason that Kazu Marzu is banned in the EU and elsewhere. A black market still exists, which is wild, and it's not a small one. In 2019, the illicit Kazu Marzu trade was estimated to be worth 2 to 3 million euros annually. Personally, I would just do it prohibition style, like definitely don't put these fly eggs on this sumptuous wheel of pecorino, but if you do, you absolutely shouldn't keep it warm and damp for a week. But although it's traditional to leave the larvae alive when you eat your mag and cheese, some consumers still prefer them dead, shockingly. In that case, one puts the cheese in a sealed bag, and when the maggots run out of oxygen, they writhe around and fling themselves all over the place. This is heard as a distinct pitter-patter against the walls of the bag, and when the sound stops, the contents are ready to eat, like popcorn. Shark fin soup is one most of us have heard about already, mostly the small one. In 2019, that, again, well enough, they can cause enteric myiasis, which is a zoo. I've learned to look past a cheese's childhood. Strange upbringings are what give them their character. But it turns out, those maggots are still alive, and if you don't chew well enough, they can cause enteric myiasis, which is a fancy term for fly larvae living in your intestines. Symptoms are similar to food poisoning, except with the added psychic pain of knowing that, again, your bowels are full of squiggly new friends. It's for this reason that Kazu Marzu is banned in the EU and elsewhere. A black market still exists, which is wild, and it's not a small one. In 2019, the illicit Kazu Marzu trade was estimated to be worth 2 to 3.
That's why I guess I'm trying to think of an avenue. No, I love this is the end. This is the end. I don't think of anything, but yeah, this is when I reach capacity. So get a load of it.